Hey guys, Lynn Cox here, Rapid Transformational Therapist. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Anyway, I'm popping on because I read a really interesting article in Australia's Psychology Today. And what it is a therapist did a study of 9,000 people and asked these people which character strengths they wish they had in order to have better mental health. And from the author's perspective, the findings were surprising because they said, you might think people want to have the ability to be more compassionate to others, take better care of themselves, do more for themselves. But it came out from this study of 9,000 people that there were five character traits people were hoping to be able to develop, to have more of, and thinking that these would lead to them having better mental health. So I will link to this article in another post, and I'm going to do a little series on these five traits. To be honest with you, the findings don't surprise me at all. Over the course of a few years of being a therapist, seeing this information come out and seeing how people answered, I'm not surprised one little bit. And there are some things that you can do to start to acquire these traits if you're potentially like these 9,000 other people, which I'm going to hazard a guess maybe you are, and would like to also have more of these traits in your life. There are things you can do, maybe some things you can consider, different ways to look at things to perhaps bring more of this into your life. So the five traits, really high level, were more the ability to forgiveness. This was number 5. Then number 4 was creativity. Number 3 was perseverance. Number 2 was bravery, and number 1 was self-regulation. So first off, I'm going to talk about this idea of forgiveness. So this is particularly interesting to me, especially in this time. We've seen a lot of polarization in the media, given the past 2 and some years that we've gone through. Lots of vitriol spewed over social media by some government leaders, people kind of pointing a finger, attacking each other on different perspectives and different ways of living their life. But forgiveness, number 5 trait, people wished that they could be more forgiving. How many of us potentially feel like we're holding a grudge over something, some hurt that somebody's inflicted upon us? Could be really significant and serious, like abuse, violence, stealing, slandering. Could be something that's quite horrible. Somebody cheating on somebody in a relationship, things like that. So forgiveness. So I just want to talk a little bit about this concept. So every experience that we have is a result of what our perceptions and beliefs are. And with Rapid Transformational Therapy and the way that I work with people, what we do is we go down underneath. We discover what are those root beliefs, what are the root causes to those beliefs, and then we extract them. We lay down a new track for people who want to have a new experience. So from the perspective of forgiveness, I'm going to bring in this word victimhood. I see a lot of that going around these days as well. People not taking full accountability for their actions, for their beliefs. Oh, well, somebody did that to me. How could I forgive that action from somebody? There is a lot of that goes around. But at the end of the day, and there is a lot of research about this, and there's a lot of ancient spiritual texts around this idea of forgiveness. Holding on to grudges and resentments actually have a really caustic effect on us, on our physiology, and on our mental wellness. And it comes to roost in different ways for people. For some who are holding on to resentments, anger, not being able to forgive and release certain things, it can manifest in a way of, self-inflicting harm. So doing things like doing things to yourself that are not healthy, compulsive behaviors, addictions, compulsive eating, you know, any kind of addiction you could think of, from alcohol to drugs to sex to gambling. So really kind of self-defeating behaviors. For others, the way that it can show itself in your life potentially could be a lashing out at others. So this could be like unexplicable road rage, or harboring resentments against colleagues or family members, or bouts and fits of anger and rage that seem to kind of come on really quickly and pop out of nowhere. So the couple of things I want to talk about in terms of forgiveness. So forgiveness does not mean condoning behavior. One of the ways to try to start to release any resentments that you have towards people who have harmed you in some way is to perhaps take on the perspective and the belief that clearly that person did not know what they are doing. And this is actually a spiritual principle. Anything we do to somebody else, we inevitably end up doing to ourselves. You cannot commit violence on somebody, for example, without somehow processing it through your own psyche and your own physicality. So people who do these things are often totally unaware of what they're doing. So it's kind of like that, when Jesus said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." That truly is the case. I believe it's the case of what a lot of experts in psychology and therapy believe, and it's also the case in what a lot of spiritual sages believe. So that idea that they didn't even know what they were doing, they were totally unaware of it, completely unaware, and that can help you get to a place where you can start to release the really dynamic and strong resentment type of energy or feeling that you might be holding. So I'll give you an example. I was in a relationship with a man who was violent. I've been really open about that. I published an article about it, talked about it, and I've managed to be able to forgive, not by having a conversation with him and saying, "Hey, I forgive you for strangling me and doing all those things." No, I was able to get to a place to forgive and release because I knew that he truly, literally did not know what he was doing. And often you'll see in cases of abuse, violence, etc., that people who commit those acts on other people often came from that themselves. And that's where it can become cyclical. So a way to start to forgive is to remind yourself, if you'd like to get out of a place of feeling like a victim and harboring resentments, that's the caveat, that when people do things like this, they truly do not know what they're doing. So I'm going to post some more about this really super fascinating study. Reach out if you have any questions, and have a great day.